Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're bringing it back to our Star Trek movie marathon with the third film in the series, still with the original cast. It's Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. Coincidentally, I used this film's title as inspiration for the movie that I made with my brothers, Buck and Drake, The Search for Spokes, which you can find on Amazon Prime. But at that point, I hadn't yet seen the movie. Today, I've seen it for the second time in my life, and I gotta say, nothing about this movie did I actually remember. While the previous film, Wrath of Khan, had a lot of unique moments that you can't help but remember, this film kinda has nothing. Honestly, the only thing that I did remember about it was the title, and I guess maybe the general idea of what happens towards the end, but that's it. Doesn't necessarily make the film bad by any means, no, but it's not the best sign either. Regardless, we're gonna dial back this review, and we'll just talk like a typical run-of-the-mill cafe clutch. Let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, Cafe Clutch, an informal social gathering at which coffee is served. Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, takes place immediately after the events of the Wrath of Khan, where, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, Spock has just died and has been sent to the Genesis planet. Sarek, of course, is angry at Kirk because when a Vulcan dies, it is custom to bring the body to Vulcan, and stupid Kirk left it on Genesis. So Kirk must steal the Enterprise scheduled for decommission, travel back to Genesis to retrieve the body, and return Spock to his home planet. Meanwhile, mysterious signs of life begin to show up on planet Genesis, signifying that Spock may actually be alive, and a Klingon villain played by Christopher Lloyd is lurking around in the background, ready to take Genesis for himself. This is a weird movie because it doesn't exactly feel like its own thing. You can't watch it without actually watching Wrath of Khan because it honestly feels like Wrath of Khan Part 2. It wouldn't take that much to edit the two movies together to make one long film because it really does take place immediately after the first movie and people are still expressing emotions of things that happened in the last movie, which almost feels weird to start a movie off with. But ignoring that for a second, I think the film is a little bit busy for no real reason. There's specifically way too many characters here. For instance, other than Kirk and his team, there's at least 2 other Space Fleet teams in this film, and then there's the Klingons, and neither the Second Fleet or the Klingons were necessary in the movie. The plot was clear from the get-go. Go search for Spock, and take him back to Vulcan. That's it. It didn't need a physical villain because, as the movie points out, the Genesis planet itself is unstable and could kill you. The Genesis planet could act as the villain, and the film would have been more unique, more contained, and would have stood out a little bit better. Instead, what we have here is Back to the Future's Doc Brown as a freaking Klingon, and I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much makeup you put on him, you can't unsee it, and you can't unhear it. Christopher Lloyd isn't exactly a well-versed actor able to play a multitude of different parts, especially a Star Trek Klingon. That does nothing but take me out of it, and I never really understood why he wanted the Genesis device anyways. Same thing as in Wrath of Khan. Khan wanted it too, and I didn't understand why. It just becomes a MacGuffin for no real reason. We've had that plot already. We didn't need to see it again with a less exciting villain. And the same thing with a second Star Command fleet. I didn't see their point. They just took up space. Maybe they needed to be there so that people could actually die and make tensions rise or something. You know, the whole red shirt thing. But I couldn't help but be annoyed by their presence. Look, it's not a bad Star Trek movie. It has some very uplifting moments, especially near the end, that makes the entire thing worth it. I'm not gonna lie. It also has a few really good moments where they used lighting to their advantage to always keep that element of mystery pretty high, like people standing or sitting in the shadows looking like Spock is back. But in all actuality, it's just your mind playing tricks on you. That was pretty cool. But it doesn't fix a broken story that you just don't care about. For the most part, it basically has a punchline that takes an hour and 45 minutes to get to, and that's it. Let's take a look at my final score for a second. This is a movie that actually pulls off a lot of technical areas, as I can't really say many bad things about what they technically did. The stuff going on behind the scenes was never perfect, but it was also made in 1984 where they naturally had a lot of limitations on what they could and could not do. So my technical unbiased score is 82%, but I was left disappointed in the story that felt convoluted and nothing about it did I really consider that memorable, so my bias score is a bit lower at 72%. averaging everything out to a final score of 77%, 77 out of 100 possible stars, granting Star Trek: The Search for Spock with a letter grade of C+. It's not terrible, not at all, but it does unfortunately have a lot of things that aren't very memorable, which if you're a Trekkie, I feel like, I don't know, you might disagree with me. If so, let me know why in the comments down below. I always like to hear what people love about a film and what sticks out to them, especially for Star Trek. So let me know your thoughts about this film in the comments down below. And as for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review, because there's more like it coming out. Hit the thumbs up button, because that always helps my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon, because that'll help notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!